Hello, listeners. This is Three Girls, One Track.
Welcome back.
Coming right at ya.
With all three of our podcast hosts for a change. We love that.
Okay, it was one episode.
The people missed you. Did you listen to our last episode, Felicia?
As you should. And,
she did not.
No, because I was gone for a week. I have to catch up on work. Everything is just give me a minute. I will, though. I look forward. Did I what?
Did you drive this week?
Did I drive?
Yeah, did you drive? Did you get in a car and drive anywhere?
You know what? Be quiet. I had silence.
And you live in Texas, so I know you've driven for an hour this week. At least minimum. Me, Beks kept it short and sweet.
I've driven for an hour today alone.
Okay. So she's slacking. Is what I'm doing.
No, I'll listen to it while I make clips, which don't hate on me, listeners. I will be making more clips. Okay.
All I'm hearing is she needs to catch it. Anyway, listeners, this is your podcast host, Afsa.
This is Felicia.
I'm Beks.
And as stated, this is Three Girls, One Track, and this is the Spanish Grand Prix that we're going to be covering for you guys today. As always, we're going to start with some F1 fashion. Beks, you can go on ahead and mute yourself right now. We don't...
Protest!
Oh my God.
Viva la revolucion!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Beyonce, I'm so sorry.
We need to add a warning or something before.
We're going to start adding a warning at the beginning.
You know what I mean? And for as long as you do this, no.
Fight the power.
Okay. Well, can you just not scream directly into it, you know?
I'm sorry, but that's how passionate I feel about my cause.
Impassioned, okay.
Beyond impassioned.
Irate,
incensed.
That you actually can't hear Beks right now because I mute her track during this part. She's been so. Just so you know, if you don't hear Beks yelling to the microphone, it's to spare you.
We're just cutting this out. Anyway, next.
Anyway, we're gonna do fashion. F1 fashion is Spanish Grand Prix. And I'm happy to start.
Go ahead.
And it loathes me to say this. But my Project Runway, because it's thin on the ground this week.
Oh God. I feel like I know who it's going to be.
It's actually Lando Norris in this black, slightly bleach-dyed t-shirt. I like a 3D monochrome pattern. It's like a black t-shirt with the McLaren word.
Oh no, I've seen it.
Listen, I had nothing else. I don't actually like this outfit that much. I just have nothing else I can really think about. I have one other thing, but I refuse to acknowledge its presence. It looks bad. I'm not accepting this.
But that was supposed to be your Project Runway, possibly?
It's all I have. It's all I have.
Sure. And it's still, and you know what really sucks? It's still Team Gear.
And my what not to wear is actually a group of people.
Ooh.
It is every man. And I'm going to specifically call them out because I see them sitting right here. Esteban, Kimmy, Pierre, and Carlos. I know more of them did it. I'm certain that more of them did it.
What did they do?
If your girlfriend comes into the paddock fitted out, looking good, just let her walk in by herself. Don't ruin her photos. Don't dull her shine by standing next to her. Okay?
Just looking like
Pierre, this was atrocious. Kika is sitting there, beautiful, summery white, with a cute dog.
Yeah, she was really cute. She was really cute.
Rumpled, light wash, and an alpaca.
Okay.
Carlos. Rebecca, she's in a little Canadian suit, capri situation. Very Spanish of her. Love it.
I haven't seen Rebecca. Hold on.
I'll send it to you. Very Spanish of her. Love it. Carlos, shorts and the Williams shirt. Kimmy, girlfriend and sister. The sister is dressed more casual, but the girlfriend, nice little jean jumpsuit, red trim, little fashion tie. Kimmy, Adidas shorts and an Adidas shirt. Esteban, girlfriend, high mock neck, black realness. And Esteban.
That was cute.
What are we doing?
Well,
just let him.
Just
get the girlfriends. Either let the girlfriends keep moving, or put them some sort of like casual wear that like difference is less. For example, George and Carmen came in. George was in white jeans, sneaks, and a Mercedes tee, and Carmen was just in like a cute ribbed jumpsuit, but nothing crazy that was like objectively fashionable. Like,
you feel so passionately about this.
I do. It reminds me, whenever they do it, they remind me of less fucked up versions of Justin and Haley. That's what they remind me of.
Not Justin.
They remind me of Haley
Bieber?
Yes. Haley fitted to the nines on that red carpet. Not on the red carpet, going to her own company's event.
That was the one that pissed me off, actually. Dress. Everything else I could get over, but that one.
You know, sweat shirt dead to me.
Do you know who also does that? Have you seen? I forgot what premiere it was. It was something that Adam Sandler was in.
Yes,
but I want to say Selena Gomez. Mm-hmm. Adam Sandler, I'm almost 100% certain, showed up in pajama pants. Selena is wearing a ball gown. Like a gown.
Oh my God.
Like a gown. And he's in there with a raggedy sweatshirt and some pajama pants.
Jesus
First of all, that attire wasn't appropriate to be outdoors in, period. Let alone at some premiere. So. But I guess that's what I just wanted to kind of jump in so I can be heard.
Okay. Anyway, so Af, did you give your what not to wear at all? What was your what not to wear?
It was all the men that we just talked about.
Oh. Don't judge me.
You can do your thing.
Don't judge me.
Keep up.
Silence. Not silence. Anyway. So they didn't give us anything, but I think my Project Runway, just because I think it's, let's go with cheeky. I think it's cheeky. Isaac wearing his own gear, his little shirt that says Hajar on it. I just like the shirt. I thought that was cute. That's going to be my Project Runway, my what not to wear. Now, I like the concept of the outfit, but there's something about the outfit I don't like. And it's George in this Mr. Rogers ass sweater. I like the Mr. Rogers sweater type of look. I really do. I think it's cute. But there's something about this particular, like the cream with the tan, with the other cream-ish, tan-ish shoes. And like none of the colors actually really go together. Like some are yellowish, some are... Anyway, all that to be said, it was I didn't like it. I like the concept, but I don't like the outfit. So... that's it. I'm done.
And we all know Beks don't got nothing to say. So
let's leave that alone.
We're just gonna push it and keep pushing into our news.
What you got? What you got?
So the first thing I've got is Carlos Sainz was giving like some sort of podcast or interview. He was sitting in front of a mic and talking and chatting mad shit.
About
the first thing, just in general, mostly honestly about Red Bull and Max, were the parts that got picked up notably by the socials. First thing that I thought was interesting was I say shed a little bit of light. He actually shed no light, but like brought it back to attention, where he was talking about the fact that like he left a top team, like there was so much swirl around him, and then he ended up at Williams. And he was basically like, "Oh yeah, Red Bull. Like, if you know my history with Red Bull, and if you know anything about Formula One, you know why Red Bull wouldn't sign me."
Why is that?
He was talking about the beef between the Verstappens and the Sainzes.
Y'all had talked about this earlier. I need more in-depth knowledge.
I mean, I could give you more in-depth knowledge. I don't have the resources in front of me right now, but TLDR, Max and Sainz are both part of the Red Bull Driver Academy.
Quick question.
Yep.
I'm showing my age. What the heck does TLDR mean? I see it all the time.
Too long, don't read. So the abbreviated version, my love. My dear sister.
Oh
hey,
Afsa,
I am a
let
millennial.
Did
Okay.
you go around when Moses carved into the stone too?
Don't try it, little girl. Don't try me. Okay, I don't know what your little acronyms. That makes me old. No, I'm a millennial. And funny enough, I'm actually a young millennial. I'm almost a zillennial. I actually might be. But
that statement makes me 1,000% sure that you are not a zillennial. I love you so much.
Okay, when does Gen Z begin?
1997.
Okay.
97 or 96?
97.
I thought it was 96.
Oh, okay, it's 97.
Well, I'm 92. I'm 5 years off. I'm closer to Gen Z than I am freaking older millennials.
You don't know what a TLDR is, girl.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just skip over it. It's actually inconsequential to the stuff that I do. Because also, you have to remember that I operate in real words.
Okay.
I have to write and read real words. So
Beks.
I don't deal with this acronym BS that y'all like to do. So
Beks.
I'm so sorry that, I read and I write things out the way they're supposed to be.
You're so old that you read real things.
No, it's called I'm
God.
a lawyer.
No.
I am a lawyer. I am a lawyer that has to use real words. I can't say, well, Judge, you know what? Actually, TLDR, but no, he's innocent. Like,
the judge would know what you're talking about.
No, they wouldn't. They would be like, contempt, 72 hours.
I want to poll the judges. I think the judge population knows what TLDR means.
They don't.
They probably
because also they use real words.
But they have to read transcripts of people who do not use real words.
They do. Well, they don't actually have to read them.
But you know what I mean.
Anyway,
whatever.
Beks doesn't know what TLDR is.
And I know what it is.
Does
it
now.
means
We've
too late, too long. Everyone needs to get with it and just read. I hate. That's a not gonna lie. Side note. I really hate when.
Wait, wait.
When you're
I need to know that you got
media.
this. Hold on.
Yeah, something long to read. Something. It's something about it being really long and y'all can't educate yourselves to read it. I just hate when I see a social media post and it's like 4 lines in one big clump and someone's like, y'all just tell me summary. That's too long to read. I hate that. Nothing grinds my nerves and people be like, that's too long. Can y'all just summarize? That's why we're stupid in America. Y'all don't want to read.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Beks.
Hey. Y'all don't know how to read. Y'all, and then if y'all tell me,
I don't know
how to read,
you are talking to. Please,
the greater you, calm down. I know you barely know how to read, so calm down.
Silence.
Anyway, let's go back on TLDR, something like that.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
TLDR. Max and Carlos raced together at Toro Rosso.
Oh my god, we never passed this.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
They were both part of the Red Bull Driver Academy.
Yes,
which meant we have two very contentious daddies. Both managing their sons' careers.
Okay. Yes, and Carlos.
And Carlos Sr. And things were not happy in the House of Red Bull. Apparently there was mad beef all the time. Mad, unsettled.
And this was when Max first got to Red Bull, or was he still in the AlphaTauri or something?
He was still in the AlphaTauri, known as Toro Rosso at the time, and I believe the vibes were bad. And my understanding is that the Verstappens and the Sainzes basically are like, we don't want to work together. Obviously, the Sainzes would put that aside for their son's only hope at a top racing team.
Mm-hmm.
But the Verstappens are smart enough to not try and get back into business with the Sainzes because why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
They got beef. They're always going to have beef. I don't think that's exactly why he didn't get the seat. I think it also had to partially do with just
They don't want him there.
They don't want you there. Like,
also too, like,
I don't think it's Verstappen specific beef. I think people saw how you moved at Ferrari, playing stories and causing problems and everything. Why would I want you there?
I was just about to say, Carlos does not give me team player, especially a team player that Max would need or want.
Yes. They need someone who would be comfortable being like a second chair, because that's all you're gonna be. They literally, all they could talk about is Red Bull second seat, Red Bull second seat. That's all everyone calls it.
Yeah. So Rip Sainz, he's at Williams now. He's doing worse than Alex Albon, as expected, but it is what it is. Next up, disappointingly and sadly, I'm pissed off about this piece of news.
Wow.
Lewis partnered with the generative AI search tool Perplexity.
What
Lewis,
is that?
vegan, got rid of his private jet to save the environment, made his dog vegan for the environment, blah, 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 the environment, partnered with, it's functionally ChatGPT, Felicia. It's just like a different tool.
Well, then why does that? What does that have to do with him doing not yada yada for
generative
the environment?
AI is really, really bad for the environment. Like, burns a bottle of water every time you use a prompt. Bad for the environment.
How?
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad.
Girl, you gotta cool the actual machines doing all of that stuff. And they take up a lot of energy to do generative AI, so you're wasting almost a bottle of water with every single Gen AI prompt that you do. And so it uses a lot of water, and it also uses a lot of energy as well.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that Lewis Hamilton has that enough insight to actually fully understand what his partnership...
Every environment...
If he cares so much about the environment.
Every environmentalist in the world is talking about how horrible Gen AI is for the environment.
I'm not gonna lie. I generally have heard just like general conversations. I did not know how extreme it was. But like for me, like I would not automatically assume like a partnership with Perplexity would be that horrible for the environment. Just off my general knowledge.
Sorry, it's not that his partnership with Perplexity will worsen the environment.
Yeah.
People are going, so you sold your private jet because you were concerned about the fumes you were letting into the environment.
Mm-hmm.
You're not concerned about their fumes to the environment? Like,
Side note, there's not a single thing on God's green earth that would make me give up my private jet.
Hello.
Unless it was
but maybe it's he's not directly emitting the fumes that makes, he's like a...
But I also feel like someone who's vegan, someone who is like talking about like, wasn't he the one I was possibly talking about like changing the cars or something?
Yeah,
that there'll be more
about the
so that'd be more
switch to more environmentally friendly biofuels.
Yeah.
Oh.
Such.
So like I guess someone like that
you wouldn't think
should be more in tune and have more knowledge of.
Because my thing is, do I think any of them should partner with generative AI? No, because none of these men are smart enough to have a generative AI partnership that actually sounds like they're doing anything. Right? Generative AI that's utilized in the way that like engineers use it and like so on and so forth, even then, you need to check that you're actually using it efficiently. But, you know what? You're using it for something real. A functionally search engine that you're supposed to just type in the way you type into Google so you can look up pizza recipes. That's what you're saying people should use it for?
That wrecks the environment somehow.
Really? The pizza? But that's my thing for Luther. I'm like, bro, when Alonso had his little Alonso.ai, I called him a fucking idiot on Twitter too. But at least Alonso isn't out here commenting on Viola Davis's Instagram, saying this is a disappointment, Viola, about her eating some chicken.
Wait.
Oh, you don't know about that famous? I'll send it to you. It's very funny.
Please stop. No.
I'll send it to you. It's very funny.
I hate vegans sometimes.
And vegans, I love you.
Oh. Yeah, I guess some of y'all aren't bad.
But I'm like,
most of y'all are, though.
I know some vegans that I absolutely love very much.
I haven't met any.
Okay. Well, we're not going to have vegan slander necessarily here
No.
on the pod.
That's fine. I will do it all personally. Y'all are annoying. Stop. Okay. Let us eat chicken in peace.
Just like every other eating habit person, there are annoying people amongst the group that is vegans. Yes.
Correct. Mm-hmm. They're okay.
I have yet to meet a meat eater as known as a vegan. Sorry. I ain't taking it back.
Have you met a person who's on a raw diet?
Yeah, you haven't met anybody on the carnivore diet, girl. They're really annoying.
It's frightening, babes.
A raw what?
Like a carnivore diet.
Like carnivore, like they eat raw meat. They're eating
raw beef.
I'm going to vomit.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway, we keep getting off track. We're not talking about this anymore.
Wow, these tangents are hitting today.
Yes. Next up, after Luce's perplexity, we've got some Fernando Alonso.
The picture she sent is actually hysterical, and the fact that he's so serious, my thing.
Oh God. Okay, let me look. Hold on. Where was it, F?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Oh, definitely don't have that pulled up right now.
Just check the chat.
Okay.
Sorry. I just looked up and there it was. Because I have it open behind my screen. It is too funny. Oh!
What?
No, she's going to talk about Fernando.
What the hell?
What the helly? What the helly?
What the helliante? What the helly berry?
See, I'm cool.
Be quiet.
I'm ignoring both of you. Both of you can get out of my podcast studio. Anyway.
Why was he so serious? I love you, but this isn't funny.
Because that's just who he is, man.
Anyway. All right. That's so dramatic. Anyway, continue. Let's go.
So my next piece of news is about Fernando Alonso.
What'd he do?
And he actually didn't do much. In fact, he did nothing. I just wanted to make us aware going into this race.
Oh, God.
Because of the next piece of news I'm going to talk about.
Uh-huh.
That up until the race we just watched,
yes,
Fernando Alonso had scored 0 points. Big fat goose egg all season. Amongst the likes of Gabriel Bortoleto, Jack Doohan, and Franco Colapinto. Okay?
What do those three have in common?
Rookies.
Chopped rookies at that.
They just got here.
Yeah, they just got here. So Alonso, that's kind of disappointing.
Is Bortoleto chopped? Bortoleto ain't going nowhere.
Actually not chopped. Bortoleto's not chopped. His car is
neither is.
He's in a kick-out. He's a kick-out.
Well, is it chopped?
Pinto's not chopped. He just got here.
We'll tap back into whether the kick salver's chopped or not. In fact, we better hope that kick salver's actually a rocket ship in disguise with what went down this week.
Let's go.
My next piece of news is that Lance Stroll, unable to participate in this race weekend after qualifying because of a complication with his wrist following his wrist injury in 2023. It's looking like he basically just didn't have enough time to heal, so it got kind of fucked up over time. But I also bring this up to say that apparently he started feeling wrist pain like 6 weeks ago. So you're telling me that Lance Stroll with one hand has been outscoring Fernando Alonso every weekend? We need to start having a very comfortable conversation.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Lance Stroll.
I didn't even think about that.
And Lance Strollovich. You're telling me Lance Strollovich.
Afsa.
That's his name. That's
his real name.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
Stroll is not their real name. Anglicized their name.
You do what?
The Strolls anglicized their name.
Lawrence Stroll. It's Lawrence who anglicized the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hello.
Lance has been beating the brakes off of Fernando, which I think is...
Did you hear, though, that after qualifying...
I'm going to let you bring up this piece of tea, yes.
After qualifying, they say Lance kind of went, a little he lost his temper, let's say, in the paddock, and he, from my understanding, something like he did throw furniture or break furniture or something along those lines. Yeah. And then
where? Like in his little whatever room, or like out somewhere? Like, was he just out like in the lobby being destructive, or was he like
in the like Aston Martin facilities?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he supposedly just said he lost his temper. He was throwing stuff. He damaged supposedly some equipment in the garage. Was cussing out his team members.
See, that's the thing. He was in the garage doing this nonsense.
And they say an Aston Martin spokesperson confirmed that it happened, but said the outburst and the injury were not connected. To me, with this information, it seems like he had a hard week and took a mental health day.
And I don't
because especially if your wrist has been hurting you for over 6 weeks now, maybe the outburst, throwing and damaging equipment, maybe it actually really aggravated.
No, pain is agitating, like,
and so maybe that actually played. Well, it may have played a factor. Aston Martin may not want to admit it because then it makes Lance look really reckless.
But yeah, but some people just really sometimes just lose their cool, and they just
they all have lost their cool. Have you heard the radios?
I mean, in a manner. Well, I mean, for him, it just kind of sounds like a little bit of a temper tantrum. I'm not gonna lie, but whatever.
But I think it's just interesting that they actually confirmed that it happened. Maybe it was to the point where they couldn't deny it because other people,
there's probably
other press
somewhere.
saw it. But I think that it may be a little bit more connected than Aston Martin wants to let on. So it was interesting.
If he lost his temper and tweaked his wrist to the point where he couldn't drive, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You gonna let your temper cost you?
And it's not. I mean, it does suck because he did have a. If I'm not mistaken, well, I was about to say he had a decent qualifying, but I guess he made it to Q2, so I don't know how decent. Well, that's decent for him.
Yeah.
So, but
hello, remember he had the most Q1 exits.
Yeah, I know.
And yet, still outscoring Alonso.
Yikes.
Well, we can jump into qualifying if y'all are ready.
We can jump into qualifying.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. I was trying to go and find Aston Martin's qualifying. Because so far, Fernando has out-qualified
Lance
every single time. Except for one sprint qualifying.
Okay.
And yet, it's not converting. So. Anyway, onto this quali. I thought it was fine. And by fine, I mean, it went how quali normally goes. It wasn't bad.
That was boring.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great.
Nothing remarkable.
Nothing remarkable. The only remarkable but sad thing was Yuki ended up coming in 20th. He qualified last.
Was there? I just wondered because, like, I was watching it and I didn't really notice anything at first, and then I just looked up. It was time was winding down, and Yuki was. I was
they
just
said
like, "What happened?"
His setup was fucked up. They messed. Like Red Bull came out and said, like, we fucked up the setup.
Okay, because I was
like
just like,
his setup as in like how he sits in the car or what?
That, the rear wing, the front wing.
Yeah.
Basically, they were like, we got it wrong.
Damn.
Yeah. So that was not unfortunate. Out in Q1 with him were obviously Yuki, Colapinto, Sainz, Ocon, and Hulkenberg. I gotta say, and I'm gonna give him time. I'm gonna give him grace because I think he's fun and I like him. Colapinto isn't doing any better than Jack doing, right? Like,
no.
I think there are. To be honest, I might even say Colapinto's doing a smidge worse.
I mean, I do agree with you. Like, I think he is factually doing a smidge worse.
Because if I'm not mistaken,
I think he.
Listen, I was just looking at Colapinto. So qualifying, Colapinto came in 20th at Monaco. He came in.
I don't count Monaco as a real race. I was talking
about just for qualifying at least.
Oh, okay,
he came in 15th for qualifying. Oh, what? These are a lot of notes.
Yeah, Colapinto.
He's not. I don't know. It's like he was in the Williams and he was,
this is only his third race back, I will say.
It's only been 3?
Yeah. And everyone keeps saying that he has a 5-race contract. I'm like, Flavio already said that's not true.
Yeah.
Oh,
it may say that on paper, but in that evil Knievel's brain. Actually, not Evil Knievel. That's not the wrong title to give him. Let's say Dr. Doom.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I got to figure out a good nickname for Flavio.
You get on my nerves.
Mr. Darkside. I don't know. I'll workshop it. I'll workshop it. We'll come back. I'll come back next episode with a better name for Flavio. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry, guys.
Anyway, I believe in Q1, didn't something happen to Colapinto's car? Question mark.
It's none of us knowing what happened. Oh no, didn't he go off? Didn't he run off he ran off the road and messed up his some or another?
Yes, I believe Colapinto went off. Listeners, you know this by now. We are not we're not good at the whole
Y'all listen to us for the vibes and the vibes alone.
Right. We're funny. That's about it.
Yeah. You know that we don't really get into that qualifying nonsense.
No, we come here to talk nonsense. Thank you very much.
Talk about the race.
Yes.
Well. We love races. Qualifying.
Talk nonsense about the race. Yes.
Yeah. It says he basically stopped trackside at the end of the session.
Yes. Because he had an issue in the pit lane and the people were stuck behind him. And I was worried he was going to set his lap.
Yeah. And it looked like the FI was potentially looking into it, but no further action.
Yeah, because his car was screwed. But knocked out.
What did they ever find out what happened with his car?
I think he just had a little car issue.
Just power unit, whatever.
Power, yeah.
It's always the power. How these things just be losing power?
That's a question I'm sure Kimi Antonelli would love to know.
Huh?
I'm sure our baby
and George. It happened to him during qualifying last.
Every Mercedes car engine has failed at this point, except for fucking McLaren, bro. How do you give your customers?
They got that voodoo.
Right. Also, how they buy your engine and beat you?
It better than you. It's truly criminal. We can't get.
They got that voodoo, y'all.
That's just sad. Your customer beating you is truly heinous.
Just
Brown went down to the French Quarter.
What are you talking about, Beks? What are you saying right now? You're just delirious.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
Anyway, we get into Q2. Honestly, kind of boring.
Very boring.
Like the rest of qualifying.
I think Q2 I feel like is always kind of a dud because I feel like unless somebody like they're normally parsing it out, they're getting their laps in, they do their usual 2 laps.
They get more data usually in Q2. It seems like.
Yeah, but the main thing is that Alex could not pull it together, and so he was out in Q2. Very sad. It was Alex, Bortoleto, Lawson, Stroll, and Ollie all knocked out in Q2. And then in Q3, we got a shootout. Not much of a shootout because we knew basically from jump that it was McLaren v. McLaren. And it ended up being with Oscar putting 0.2 of a second on Lando's head.
Yep.
Which I thought was crazy.
Well,
that's a lot of time. kind of. I was genuinely shocked when this happened. I thought it was going to be like a couple of thousandths of a second, and then
and they said 2/10. I mean, I don't know. And when he said it, I heard some of the commenters. I think it was Jolene Palmer. I think it was them. But he was talking about how back in the day, the difference would be like a whole entire second between first place and second place. I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. And that was like a normal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then to think that now they're saying 0.2 is like slow. Like that's a nice little ways. What?
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? Last race where who got like a 10-second penalty?
Max.
No.
Was it? And it dropped him like a...
George
got a drive-through, right?
Who? Because like it was somebody who got a 10-second penalty and it like dropped them significantly.
That happens whenever there's a safety car. That happened earlier this year as well.
Okay.
I don't remember who to, but it did happen earlier this year as well.
Yeah, and it's like you're basically that 10-second penalty is just like
10 seconds basically puts you at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
depending.
We ended up seeing Oscar obviously on pole, Lando second, Max third, George fourth, and then everybody trickling kind of where you expect them to go. But very shocking, very happy. Lewis managed to outqualify Charles. Snap.
Wasn't that the first time this season?
It's never gonna happen again, girl.
Unfortunately.
What? Like, I love Lewis. Charles is one of the best qualifiers on this goddamn grid. He's never out-qualified him again.
This is true.
I will also do, like, we can talk about this actually in the post-race, but there are a lot of people who have come out after this race and have a lot of opinions on Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Why?
And the reason why I bring this up is because you, as you were mentioning earlier, anyway, you were mentioning Alonso. And I think it's so funny how some people are calling for Lewis's head and Alonso is sitting up there taking space, doing nothing. So we can kind of go into that a little bit later, but just wanted to point that out.
Qualified by Stroll.
No. He's only been out-qualified.
Not Stroll. Not Stroll.
Outraced.
Outraced. Sorry, not qualified. Outraced.
Which is worse.
Yes.
They scored on Sunday.
Yes.
But all right, we can get into the race, the Spanish Grand Prix, which this year is in Barcelona, but I believe it might be in Madrid.
I thought so. I was confused because I thought Madrid was going to be its own race, but then I also realized they probably wouldn't have two Spanish GPs.
I think they're switching it over to be in Madrid instead of Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
I heard it. And I've heard the
Madrid track is ass.
It's called like the Mad Ring or something, which I think is such a horrible name.
But we'll see. We'll see. It could be good. I'm excited for it. You know,
it's called the Mad Ring.
That's what I've heard them call it, which I'm just like, okay, play on words, I guess, but.
All right. So with Stroll not being in the race, everybody behind him moved up one space. Yuki's starting from the pit lane because they made changes to his car because, again, the setup was fucked. And it looked like it was going to be a two-stop for everybody. We'll talk more about the number of stops later. And apparently only the McLaren pair had fresh softs. The rest of the top 10 used ones, which is shocking considering the way that things panned out with that start. But we get to the start, and lo and motherfucking behold, to nobody's great shock and chagrin, Max beats fucking Lando off the line. Ends up taking second place. Then it leaves Lando and George fighting, a little bit.
It's good to know that Lando's consistent. He'll choke from pole and he'll choke from second too.
I don't even know. I honestly needed to go look at it again because I couldn't tell if Max just got a really great start or if Lando fumbled the bag.
I think it was a combination.
Probably.
Lando didn't have the best start, and Max had a great start.
Yeah, that's true. So we end up with Piastri, Max, Lando. Behind those three, we've got Russell and baby Lewis and Shore all scrapping for 4 through 6. And I think it eventually pushes Russell down to 6th or something. I believe so. He got
because he tried to do something and the Ferraris jumped him.
The Ferraris got his ass.
And
what
was he trying to do? I think he was trying to jump. Who was in front of him?
I think he was trying to take Lando.
There we go.
Lando did that thing where he loses a place at the start and then he loses a little bit more time.
Yep.
And then maybe catches back up.
And George got overzealous, tried to jump him and mess himself up. Wound up going slightly off the track, and both Lewis and Charles went through.
Yes. We also at the beginning have Hulkenberg going 5 places and ending up in P10. This will continue to be a trend throughout the race.
Let's just keep an eye on Nico because
I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised at Nico this week, but I also feel like he didn't actually have the best race.
No,
if that makes any sense. I don't want to say it's luck because it does require some skill, but it was just he was just chilling. Some people screwed up, and he
had
found
a good
himself
race
at the right spot at the right time in the right place.
He had for him a good race.
Yeah, I think so.
Basically, we end up with everybody trying to settle into their positions. Oscar has a 2-second lead on Max by lap 4 because the McLaren was not affected by this Spanish technical directive. I was promised.
I know. I saw them complaining
Everyone
afterwards.
Swore.
Everyone's y'all just made people spend money and waste time and energy.
Isn't that what Lewis said?
Yep. And he's right. They should have fucked their wings. Because they were because Lewis basically it just bends by 50% less. They still have a flexi wing. And I'm ban them. Ban them.
Either you can't judge how much it may or may not flex. You either need to get rid of it or let it be. Huh? I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. The whole, the semantics of, it bent 1/8 of a something more than it's supposed to, yada, yada, yada. No, either let them have it or don't let them have it. Call it a day.
I want whatever's going to neuter McLaren's tongue.
So take it off completely. Get rid of it.
But basically, we then end up having Ferrari beef because Lewis isn't making a good enough move on Lando, and so Charles starts coming to the back of him. And it's the same goddamn story we have every single time, which is which Ferrari is actually faster. I think we got our answer though, because Charles was, in my opinion, objectively faster than Lewis. We had our answer.
He was, yeah.
He
Lewis
was all over
incredibly. I don't know what was going on with him this race. Well, I don't even know what was going on with this race. I think it's been happening since his switch to Ferrari.
King is suffering.
It seems like Charles has a better. Well, of course, Charles should have a better grip handle on the car.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely, I feel like a very rough adjustment for Charles, for Lewis. But I don't know. Keep going, sir, or prepare to switch something else. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And so then by lap 10, we start getting people coming into the pits. Because it's the start of the soft pit window.
Yeah, and I was surprised because that was even so. They usually give pit windows, and I thought I saw at the beginning of the race, the commentary, they said if you do the two pit strategy, 12 is basically the earliest window.
You have to extend your middle stint a bit,
and they started pitting what
lap 10ish.
Yeah, lap 10. So I was just a little surprised. I mean, it's only 2 laps early, but each lap counts, I guess.
Every lap counts. But then we had safety car stuff, so every lap ended up not counting.
Basically.
Probably what worked for them. During that set of pits, we also had Sainz. I think he had a 9-second pit stop.
What happened?
Okay, I thought that they were changing the front wing.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't replay to see what exactly happened to him, but I think they changed his front wing. Because I know they changed Alex's front wing.
Okay, I think so. They had to change two front wings. They had to change the front wing on both of their things.
Explains what happens later to Alex.
So all this money they spent, they probably wound up screwing some of them over in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, Williams don't got money. We know that. We know that much.
Well,
they're in the poorhouse consistently.
So they had to make do with what they could make do within the rules.
What they could, which I believe is exactly why we see an Alex retirement later.
Well, we'll get to that.
I don't think they have a third wing.
I don't think so.
And honestly,
no, they changed to... Oh, you mean a third extra wing?
A third wing for his car.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think they had that. But
no.
Anyway, the Williams are suffering. Everybody's suffering. Honestly, the only one who's having a good time at this point is Oscar Piastri.
Well,
everybody
Oscar
else
just be chilling.
Oscar's was gone, and he was just like clean air, beautiful sky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, a little later on, I don't know. There were some lapped cars, so may not be the cleanest.
He had a couple. He had a couple moments where you had to, take some deep breaths.
Just feel as though Oscar had a race. He jumped out in front and just never looked behind. And also there's one point where there's a very sizable gap between Oscar and Lando.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Oscar maintained a pretty good gap. We'll get into that part about their gap. But I want to note that basically TLDR. Lando ends up passing Max. His tires are better. He has a faster car. He ends up passing Max. And this leads Max to dive into the pits for new soft tires.
Yes.
Notably, why the fuck did they put Max on new soft tires?
Because what lap was that again?
13.
After he had already
used soft tires already.
To start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They used soft tires knowing they have to don't even start me on their bullshit. But they put him on fresh new softs.
Yes.
Which, while bad in the grand scheme of things,
yes,
actually led me to my first notable race note, which is that this is the Undercut GP, which I love. I personally love any GP where an undercut is really powerful because I think they're more fun.
Mm-hmm.
When you can pit early, put in banger laps, and then the leader pits and ends up randomly somehow now they're behind you. I think that's more fun than an overcut where it's just you're just gonna go long and cool. Using less pit stops works.
It's a little more
easy,
It's a little more strategic to do an undercut, I think, than an overcut.
Exactly. And if what happens at the end of the race doesn't happen, okay, so we're gonna ignore that part.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't happen, I don't understand why the fuck McLaren let Max undercut them that hard. Because Max pits after Lando passes him.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed a graphic. If Lando had responded, he would have come out with Max maybe 0.2 seconds behind Max.
Okay.
When Lando pits, he ends up 10 seconds behind Max. And when Oscar pits, he ends up 5 seconds behind Max. And the thing is, I think that they were really, really counting on Red Bull doing what they eventually end up doing, which is a 3-stop, right?
Uh-huh.
They were counting on them doing a 3-stop, and there not being enough tire at the end to do any catch-up.
Yes.
And my question for McLaren is, what if Max hadn't done a 3-stop? If Max had done soft, hard, and actually gotten to warm up the hard tires, or fuck it, Soft, medium, baby, even better.
Why didn't they give it mediums, by the way?
I don't think Beks had mediums. I don't think Beks had any extra mediums past the one that he used.
Which one did he use?
He went soft, medium, hard.
3. Yes. Sorry. Missed it.
No, it's totally fine. I don't know what their plan was if Red Bull decided, we're going to go long on this one and do 2 stops. Everybody else who pitted at the same time as Max. They also did 2 stops. So, what was their plan? Because he undercut them bad. If Max had just stayed out and not gotten new tires at the safety car, I fear it might have been over for them.
At times, I'm not going to lie, maybe it's just me, but at times I feel like McLaren's strategy is just we have the fastest car.
That is their strategy.
And
that's why they couldn't
it works
shit until they had the fastest car.
Yeah, it works.
Actual strategists.
When you actually have... It's just sometimes it is very frustrating because I feel like they're running away with the constructors, but
But I also feel like it doesn't get talked about because they end up winning, and I'm like...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you let a guy with a slower car than you undercut you by 10 fucking seconds.
10 seconds is kind of crazy.
You let him gain 30 seconds on you in the time it took you to pit your drivers. That's ridiculous.
Wait, and didn't they mess up one of them?
Oh, that's later.
Oh, okay.
And they messed up both.
Well, damn.
Anyway, we start getting our pits. Boom, 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 boom. This, like I said, this is undercut city. So Lewis pits to undercut other people and also prevent an undercut from the people behind him. It's all going down. And eventually we see the McLarens pit on laps 22 and 23, which is when they end up behind Max by 5 and 10 seconds. And then this is where we start to get beef.
Which beef?
Between Lawson and Albon.
You mean Lawson and the entire grid?
Lawson pisses everybody off.
That is true. But in this specific case, he's beefing with Albon. Yeah. Albon got front wing damage for the second time and was called to retire his car.
Yes.
Pobrecito.
However, Alex got a 10-second time penalty. And so they did that thing that I actually think is the one case in which I want the FIA to be stricter and be more harsh.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it.
No, I think it's funny. But I think if you're gonna harsh them on other things, you can't let them do this.
Okay.
So basically, Felicia, I don't know if you noticed. Lately, especially lately, every time a driver who is in the act of retiring their car gets a penalty, the team will send them back out for one lap so they can serve the penalty. And I'm like, listen, do I think that's really funny? Yes, I do think that's really funny. I do think that if the FIA is going to pretend that it's an actual governing body, that's obviously something that you need to
You need to do something about that.
Yes, you need to stamp that out. And
they were like, look at Alex go on the most pointless lap of his career.
I completely understand why that is a problem, right? Which is you don't want to incentivize cars to run a certain amount after a penalty.
Yeah.
When they probably should retire, just so they don't have to serve the next race, right?
Yes.
But I think that's what the black and orange flag is for. If you see that
we need to go over flag colors, by the way, at some point. It's the
flag that goes you are unsafe, you need to get the fuck off this track.
No, I mean we need to go over all the flag colors.
We can do it on the filler episode, sure.
Okay, cool.
But
no, yes, that means get off.
Yeah. Go fix this. And if
you're a danger to society at large.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I'm just I think they gotta figure something out. Not that I actually want them to, I don't really care because they're a fake governing body, but if you're going to claim you're a real governing body, then this is obviously something you should figure out.
How about you govern?
How about you govern? Get it. We also have Max reporting drivability issues. The RB21 was really kicking his ass today. And he stops for his second pit stop. basically solidifying a 3-stop because Max was not doing fucking 36 laps on these mediums. I hoped he did. I wanted him to so bad, but he did not.
It wasn't working out.
Have they stated if that was that? Because my understanding that was a change in strategy mid-race.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So they always had a 3-stop?
I think Red Bull was going for the 3-stop anyway. Just because Max didn't seem too beefed by the 3-stop.
And he likes to get beefed out.
He was definitely beefed about them hards.
And I don't blame him. Them shits were bad. Those were literal ice blocks. And I don't know
that was a terrible idea.
I got an ice box where
but anyway, by the time that we get to the halfway point,
where my heart used to be now. Okay, go.
By the time we get to the halfway point,
I'm so cold.
Felicia?
Felicia.
No, you cannot.
Yes, she can.
I belong here. Continue.
Okay. And when I click that yeet button, what's it gonna be?
You would not yeet me. Don't yeet me.
Anyways,
yes.
By the time that we get to the halfway mark, we have Piastri leading Norris by 4 seconds. Leclerc is in 3rd. Max has dropped back down to 4th because of him pitting for the tires. And eventually makes the move on Charles and starts to try and go get Lando. So now this is the point where Lando is starting to cut into Oscar's lead. He was leading by 4 seconds and Lando's starting to cut into it. And then Max is also going nice and fast. And, catching up to them. Now, I do have to say, I've noticed this phenomenon that I actually don't know why it happens, because it doesn't happen when Lando's necessarily in dirty air. But there's this phenomenon that happens basically every single time Oscar wins a race, right?
Okay.
Where Lando's trailing behind him. Where Lando will gain a lot of time on Oscar up until anywhere from, depending on how far behind he was, anywhere between 2 and 4 seconds. And then it's like he hits a roadblock of being able to get any faster. When it's like, I don't know what's going on that's preventing him from continuing to make progress. But I oftentimes will feel like he'll be, let's say, 7 seconds behind Oscar.
Yeah.
And he will gain and gain and gain on Oscar. And then he'll hit 3 seconds, and for 20 laps won't make any progress until 3 seconds. I've always just found that so interesting because it happens no matter how far behind he starts. He can make up all of the gap until he's like 3 seconds away. And then
all of a sudden he just can't do it. Well,
I don't know if like the McLaren is putting off an insane amount of... That's too far behind for dirty air though. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, dirty air you've got to be like within what, maybe 2?
Yeah.
2?
So okay. I don't know what's going on there. But they're scrapping for first, and we all know who ended up getting first, so we'll get to that one in a moment. But once again, by the time that there's 20 laps remaining, so lap 46, it's more than 4 seconds, so like, nothing's changing, except for Oscar getting farther away. Now, we end up with, and I'm only mentioning this because it'll become relevant, Hülkenberg and Hamilton stop on lap 47. Hülkenberg ends up in P10. Ferrari kind of fucked Lewis's stop, so he ends up in P7. And then we also get Max putting on a set of used soft tires as his 3rd stop candidate. And this is when everything starts to go shit.
It was actually quite fun.
Wait, I thought he went soft, medium.
He went soft, medium, soft, and then it all went wrong.
No, I thought you went soft, medium, hard.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Did I miss a pit stop?
Anyway,
soft,
maybe I missed.
medium.
Maybe I didn't miss. Maybe I missed.
Yeah, because he started off on soft.
Yeah, and then
he got new ones. He went to the mediums. Then they ran out, so he went to the hards.
Did they run out? Actually,
not they ran out, but like that was the only other option they had. So he hit the hards to finish off.
My brain is short wiring.
Okay.
And I didn't write down tire.
It's 4 sets of tires. He starts on 1, 3 stops.
His safety car stop was a 4th stop. That's what's throwing us off.
His what?
I think his safety car stop. His stop under the safety car was a 4th stop.
He did stop. They all stopped under safety car.
Okay, because I forgot about that. What did he get on the... Okay. So what? He went soft, medium, hard?
Medium, hard.
Soft, medium, soft, hard. Anyway, all this to say, Max pitted for his 3rd pit stop and put on used softs. I'm on the F1 report, okay? So we know it's
We are digging today.
Max stopped, put on his softs. The McLaren stopped, put on theirs. Like wheels. Everybody did their pits.
And they took off.
With only, I think it had been 8 laps.
Something like that.
Less than that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Antonelli goes off into the gravel, sparking a safety car. Now,
Kimmy, what happened?
I mean, the engine went out. Nothing happened. Yeah.
Oh, wait. It literally just went out. Yeah.
The engine just... So, which is unfortunate. But... we end up with the safety car. Obviously, people are pitting on their safety car because it gives you a better pit stop, and Max asks for new tires.
Yes, he does.
Red Bull, unintelligently, fails to let him know, like, hey, homie.
All we got.
Only new tires are hards.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
So when Max gets the hards bolted on, he's on the radio going, what the fuck is this? The worst tire to be on for a safety car restart. Objectively, for exactly the reason that occurs immediately, which is your tires are cold as fuck and you've got no grip. No, like you can't heat them shits up. In a safety car restart.
All they kept saying during the restart was you can see him trying to warm up his tires, and I'm just like,
so
it's not gonna work out, baby.
What they should have done is they should have left him out. The softs only had 8 laps on them, and there were 6 laps left.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
yep,
he could have done 14 laps on the softs on no fuel.
Yeah,
and they should have let him out, let him have track position. At worst, he ends up 3rd. At worst, this is.
And I mean, he wound up what? 4th, 5th?
No, we'll get there. Felicia, we'll get there.
Okay.
This is the first of Red Bull's mistakes. Is putting Max on hards. So
Red Bull is a mistake. Go ahead.
So then we get to the safety car restart, and there's actually this great thing that I think that I don't know if Oscar did it on purpose, but I feel like he did it on purpose. Which is, if your opponent is behind you with hard tires,
yes,
you want to do exactly what Oscar did,
which is
go as slow as physically fucking possible.
Ice him down.
And the second Oscar was going 10 miles an hour, I put my head in my hands and I was like, fuck no. Max is gonna crash immediately.
Oscar said,
almost did.
You like this, Max?
Because his tires are cold as fuck. There's absolutely no grip. So Max has a huge snap, almost crashes the car out. Leclerc gets past him. They have a little, I don't even want to call it a wheel bump because Charles, as I stated before, in the post-race, Charles himself went, it was nothing.
It was a love tap.
It was a kiss. It was a light kiss because he didn't want to move and I didn't want to move.
So we said hello.
Yeah.
And said, we won't go there.
Yeah. And that was that. They both said in the FIA conference after the fact that both of them were just unwilling to move.
We can discuss that.
Yeah. No harm
post.
And then after that, Russell tried to pass Max, which made Max go down the escape road. And so then, of course, Red Bull, in a shocking turn of events, actually, I don't know why the fuck they did this, they asked Max to give the place back. I was shocked.
Yes.
1, Red Bull never gives the place back. So why are we all of a sudden giving the place back?
That is literally like a 10 commandment of Red Bull.
Why are they giving the place back? Second,
because they knew they should.
Why are you giving the place back when your driver was ahead at the apex?
Hello.
He wasn't going to get a penalty.
Nope.
The FIA came out and went, we weren't going to give him a penalty. He was ahead of the apex.
Because he wasn't at fault.
So that was a fucking mess. So Red Bull's second mistake is that they order Max Verstappen to give back this place that he was never going to get penalized for.
Uh-huh.
Because they're terrified of getting a 5-second penalty and then dropping him back farther. Little did they know that this would cause so much beef. And while he's trying to let Russell through, Max does not make the turn and wheel bumps Russell. Then it's an entire disaster. George gets ahead of him. Max is upset. He tries to catch George, doesn't end up catching George, ends up finishing like half a second behind him. Gets handed a 10-second penalty for causing a collision and drops down to 10.
So I have a question for y'all real quick.
Yep.
Because you know how everyone's talking about Max was just mad and yada, 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 and his driving was dangerous, this, that, and the third. What do y'all think?
He should have been disqualified.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
One, we have a precedent for causing a collision in a race, and it's not being disqualified. So I don't know why we're even.
That's what they said on the broadcast.
Plenty of people, and yes, British people on television said that a British person getting wheel bumped should cause the person to be hung in the town square by their toes.
Like British people, Nico Rosberg.
Yeah, girl, Nico Rosberg's dramatic as fuck,
but he's not British.
And an ex-Mercedes driver. I don't trust anything that British says. It's not about Lewis.
Oh, Nico's like German or something.
It's not about Lewis.
Not about Lewis. Yo, bruh.
I have many, many feelings about it.
Okay, go ahead.
I have
go ahead.
Her soapbox standing up for her man.
I have feeling number one.
Stand by your man, girl.
Hush, listen.
I have feeling number one, which is I think that we're blowing things a bit out of proportion with the collision. A collision that caused no damage to the car.
Nothing.
No damage to George, and allowed George to finish the race ahead of him. I think we're being a bit dramatic about the collision. The way people and Sky Sports are talking about it is as if Max Silverstone George. They're acting like Max sent that man into a wall and they kept driving to a victory. Which, I want the record to show, when Lewis did that to Max, I said, keep on driving, kid. It happened. You know, it happens sometimes.
It was an incident.
Silverstone Max, okay? Max gave George a... Let me just say, I'm also not on team it was or wasn't intentional. Because I don't think we're ever going to know whether it was or not, right? Max was complaining the entire race about his inability to turn in these low-speed corners.
Yep.
Right? We had a whole radio where he was like, I get into these low-speed corners and I can't turn the fucking car.
Yep.
Right? So, there are two trains of thought I could go on. Mm-hmm. There's train of thought one, which was this was intentional. He wheel bumped George and then kept pushing.
Yeah.
Option number two is that he got distracted by being so pissed off by George. Sorry, not even by George, because George didn't necessarily do anything. He got so pissed off by being on the hards and being asked to give the thing back that he was distracted and didn't correct for the issue that he'd been having the entire race of being unable to turn in these low-speed corners. So I'm also not 1,000% sold that this was some, like, malicious, intentional thing. I think it's infinitely more likely that Max spent the entire race correcting in the low-speed corners and was distracted by the T and, like, honestly forgot to do that and ended up with him hitting George. Right?
I don't see it. I also
don't know if I care. I think is like where I end up landing. I don't know if I particularly care.
Okay.
I didn't care when Seb Vettel wheel bumped Lewis under a safety car. I didn't care when Michael Schumacher crashed out his opponent to win a championship. When I found out about that, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
I was about to be like, you cared? Were you alive?
but I kept it pushing. I was like, it is what it is. Like, oh wow, he was kind of crazy, right? Like, I don't think that I'm particularly fussed about like mildly petty car actions.
I feel like you are if it's Lando.
Oh, Lord.
Oh well, yeah. If I'm being a hater, I'm being a hater. And that's what I'm saying. If people want to be irrationally haters for Max, that's their business as fans. That's part of being a sports fan, is there's a bitch over there eating crackers, and you're like, how dare that bitch eat crackers? I'm saying, if that's the angle, then you just hate Max, and so any wrong he does is magnified, that's fine. I just think people being like, he could have killed George, and he was violent and dangerous.
That was
it was dangerous. They were going hundreds of miles an hour.
They were going
and he hit him.
It was a low speed corner.
Okay, you're going tens of miles an hour, and he almost hit him.
He wheel bumped him, and I have a hot take on the drivers. I think people, because they see big hunks of metal that normally move really fast, they act like anything done with the car. A wheel bump, spinning somebody around, they act like you just tried to murder them. The safest place to take out your anger on another driver is in a low-speed corner in an F1 car. That is...
You are a liar and a crazy person.
I'm being 1,000% serious.
A safest place in.
Here they go.
Safest place. Absolutely.
No, it's not.
It is.
You are not thinking rationally about this comment, and I'll excuse it just because you're delirious. You aren't. You can't be.
No. I'm being 1,000% serious. Yuki Tsunoda, I believe it was last week or a couple weeks ago, crashed the fuck out hard. Hard into one of the walls.
Sure did.
And 2 seconds later, hopped up out of the car fine because they're in the middle of a survival cell meant to protect them, even if they take 60 Gs, like Max and Silverstone. Max was fucked up. But from being hurtled into a wall at hundreds of miles an hour, not being hit in a 50-mile-per-hour speed corner. The safest way...
Not even hit, tapped.
Yeah, love tap, by the way. The safest place you can love tap a bitch is in a low-speed corner. Okay? I also feel like people are forgetting how robust these goddamn cars are for this 50-mile-per-hour corner. Max would have done more damage by punching George out after the race. He would have done more harm to George punching him after the fact.
Shove him on the scales.
And so, that's exactly. I think what he did to Esteban caused more goddamn damage than what happened to George. Like, if Max had punched George, I would have been like, guys, I'm still going to defend him because I don't really give a fuck about him punching George, but I agree with you that was fucked up for him to hurt George.
I actually don't really care. I don't think
it was a wheel bump in a low speed corner. We have seen more aggressive. Like, I would argue that there
were more aggressive moves during this race.
Yeah, Lawson was in this race. Lawson was in this race, and he's not being accused of murdering anybody or being a danger to children.
Yeah, because he's actually has no intent. He just shouldn't be on the grid.
This is also, I think this is also the fourth point where I land on things.
Oh, you don't think
I think it is interesting that people are really, really upset at a potentially intentional wheel bump. But drivers making moves they know they will never make.
Yep.
And then actually crashing somebody into a wall. Is par for the course.
Yep.
Right? There are a ton of people who, because George apologized, they are perfectly fine with Imola, where George went on the outside, put a wheel onto the grass, knowing he could not make it out the outside because there was not a car's width there.
There was no space there.
Oh, well, but that wasn't on purpose. Like, he went on the grass and he crashed. And I'm like, do you think genuinely that George Russell thought he could drive on wet grass in an F1 car unscathed?
No.
Absolutely fucking not. He didn't care. He was like, on the 0.01% chance that I make it past Valtteri on this grass is worth it to me.
So
I said I'm gonna just send it and see what happens.
Potentially going, if we crash, we crash, and crashing Valtteri out, and then smacking Valtteri after the fact. It happened. I just smacked a man I probably concussed from throwing him into the side of a wall, but that happens. this guy wheel bumping me in a low-speed corner when I crashed out Valtteri at 190 miles per hour?
Well,
who cares?
Okay, so I actually really don't care. I don't think it was that big of a deal. But there's no way I'm going to let you sit up there and ride for your king and without getting any type of pushback.
Now you're king.
No, it's okay. You can give me all the pushback you want.
Because I
pushback.
think some of your support and your rationale for him actually is not rooted in reality, but simply in your own truth and your own reality and Max's own reality. And I've never claimed it to be. Because that's the thing let me not get on a tangent about Max, actually. We can keep it pushing on Max.
My TLDR for this, as this is I'm going to call this a podcast episode TLDR. My TLDR
oh my God.
Is that, like, let's say it was intentional, because once again, I'm not 100% on team like you went, like, I'm going to crash into George. I think he was just distracted and pissed off and wasn't paying attention.
But people,
he was irritated.
But
he was agitated.
You can use context to figure out people's intent. People's intent is measured every day.
I
mean, sure. And I'm saying
lawyer.
I think the most logical series of events is I'm pissed off from these hard tires and being asked to give the place back. I have been having to put a lot of focus into making these low-speed corners the entire race, as previously stated by me 40 laps ago.
Yep. And then they gave me
so
this
angry,
as my tire
at the dude that, like, got to pass me, that I'm letting pass me, that I'm not paying as much attention as I should be.
Yeah.
And I don't
and
make
you can also add past history into the mix, if you will.
I mean,
and it's all a recipe for
the same thing to Lewis. I'm not disagreeing with you with that. She's referencing when he was supposed to let Lewis pass, and he also wheel bumped Lewis. And I also didn't.
He also ran over Lewis's head. Everybody gonna be
and
okay.
Him and George don't get along in general. They always seem to
famously.
I always feel like anything has to do with Max and George and Max and Lando. There's always intent from both parties at times, depending on.
And my thing is, like, once again, like, I don't really care if it was intentional or not, but I also just think that, like, this is being blown massively out of proportion. Let's say it was intentional.
I think it's blowing.
Let's say that he went and wheel bumped him.
I think everyone can bring it down like 50%.
Like, if people were just like, "Wow, that's unsportsmanlike," I'd be like, "You guys are right. That's absolutely unsportsmanlike. No disagreements there, right?" It's when we start going like, the children watching at home, and this takes a shine off your legacy, and I'm just like, what? Y'all don't know about Max then, if you think that this takes a shine off his legacy. This is at the bottom of Max's list of crimes.
No one is going to remember it in 2 races.
Like, this is the bottom of his list of crimes. Like, I'm so sorry. I can think of many other things Max has done that should have taken the shine off his legacy more than a wheel bump.
Like slapping Esteban.
Let's
go through him.
He should have slapped that
Esteban.
I would have done it.
Almost killed Lewis.
Exactly. Let's
that was attempted murder.
He literally. Go ahead.
Those obviously all take the shine off more. So them being like, this takes the shine off. I'm like, guys, chill.
He almost decapitated a man.
No, what was the other thing? Anyway, I really don't
it was a wheel bump
his history, but
so one, I think that, like, that's a bit dramatic. 2, I don't love that whenever somebody wants to feel vindicated about something they don't agree with somebody doing in Formula 1, they pull out the kids. People I like do it all the time. Lewis did the same fucking thing to Sebastian Vettel about the safety car wheel bump, where he was like, and not being a role model for the kids. And I thought he was lame as fuck for doing that too. Like, it is a lame-ass excuse to be like, what about the kids about a wheel bump on the track? Like,
it's a wheel bump.
Nobody thought about the kids at Silverstone. Nobody thought about the kids in many, many other instances where people are getting crashed out. If you are concerned with your children seeing crashes, sportsman-like crashes or not, why are they watching Formula 1 with you?
Thank you.
I think that I've heard Max say things on the radio much more damaging to a child than witnessing an intentional wheel down.
Are they now set? Are they censoring them in a
They've
way,
always
right?
censored them.
I feel like they're doing it more.
Nah.
No.
Am
I just...
I've been used to the beeps. I don't think nothing's changed.
No. Because there'll be a thing where, like, their radio will pop up, but you don't hear anything.
No, that was a glitch. I think they were
heard. Okay.
But, like, I just think that this has been blown out of proportion, and therefore causes me to blow it out of proportion in reverse, where I'm
girl.
Himala. Listen, bitches have been wilding on Twitter talking about Max was raised by Yas, so he's an abuser and he's violent and he has a kid now and he's abusing them. I'm like,
oh yeah, he has a kid.
I'm like, guys, he wheel bumped somebody. Let's all take a breather. I also watched Max's onboard, and I'm not going to invalidate George's feelings because I wasn't in the car. Even George was like, yeah, that was kind of crazy, but...
I'm sorry. Rolling back. That baby just got here. Please stop.
Yeah. Like,
that child... child still got womb juice behind the ears. Please stop.
Yeah. Even George, he obviously did his George thing where he's like, think about the children. But even George was just like, yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, like, I think we can all take a step back and call it what it was.
Just an incident.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, 15-yard penalty. Let's keep it pushing.
It was an incident.
But anyway, we had Oscar finish first. Love that for him. Lando finished second. Charles finished third. And I believe Max finished fifth, but then got knocked down to 10th by his 10-second penalty. And we missed one important thing that I know none of us really want to talk about, which is that at the end of the race, in the last lap, Lewis Hamilton got passed by Nico Hulkenberg in a kick salvo for what would end up being
You want to know what's really funny? I had forgotten that. And I wish you would have allowed me to remain in that fantasy because I like Nico, and so I'm happy that he did as well as he... Go, Nico. But what?
I was so happy for Nico because, you know, I feel like you suffered in a Haas, you suffered in a kick Sauber, like, you know.
Like, baby, you can't even get into a Williams, like, something.
Yeah, like, it's a lot.
I wonder if, just food for thought, but I wonder if we've never actually seen Nico's full potential because we've never really had a great car.
I don't think we have.
He's never had a car that would allow us to do that.
Yeah. Which is why I do think, like, I think F1 focuses a lot on these, like, sprints to try and bring, like, extra energy. But I think that, like, there are so many other ways you could introduce more racing in a way that, like, gives us, like, something different and new. I feel like a lot of people's critique about the sprints are, like, they are just mini races, so they're kind of just giving me an intro into how the race is going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
When, like, you could easily make it so the sprint is, like, something a little bit different. Like, maybe they all have to race spec cars. Spec F1 cars for the sprint. Maybe,
what is that?
Like, all the same.
Ah.
The same car.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Like, that would be really interesting. Make a car that's, like, doesn't tend to...
Everybody got a McLaren?
Or not even that. Just, like, make a car that doesn't tend towards oversteer, doesn't tend towards understeer, or maybe even, like, the same parts, but, like, they can set up the wings differently. They can, like, you know, like, adjust that kind of thing.
But
right?
The bits
where,
are
like,
all the same.
The same engine specs, the same chassis. Maybe you can set up the wing differently so you can get more downforce if that's your thing. Like, give us something new and interesting. Because also, like, I mean, do I think Nico Hulkenberg is going to be better than Max? No. But
no.
Maybe he is! We're never going to know! We're never going to know. The answer's no. But,
okay.
like, maybe put him in a little spec car. Maybe he'll finally get that podium.
Well, yeah, let's get Nico. Nico deserves something. Nico, you know, something for his baby to look up to because...
Exactly.
I don't know what I mean, your dad is one of the 20 best drivers in the world. That's something to look up to, I guess, right?
Yeah. So maybe one day they'll consider. I understand it's technically antithetical to Formula One because Formula One's supposed to be like the innovation racing series and the best technology in the world. But I also think that like you could totally do more to give us a lot more racing and also add a little more fun to it. And I don't even think the sprints.
You could do an F1 specs
like I don't even
type
think
thing.
The sprints in my form of the world are necessarily part of the drivers' championship.
What do you mean?
I think that they're their own thing. Just a little.
In your ideal world.
Yes.
Heard, chef.
All right, baddies. Do we have any extra commentary, any post-race we'd like to cover?
I was going to talk about the Lewis Alonso thing, but basically, I just been seeing a lot of things that Lewis is washed, that he needs to hang it up, and his time has come and gone. And it's a wrap. I think being passed by Sauber is just a little bit too much for a lot of people. But the thing for me that is like, the reason I kind of want to bring it up in reference to Alonso is they have been racing for not quite as long as each other. Like, Alonso's been racing for a few more years than Lewis, but Alonso is not producing. Isn't producing anything for his team. He's just like, I mean, he's in there in comparison with the rookies. And so for me, I just feel as though if you want to call somebody washed, we can start with Alonso. And if then we want to move to Lewis, I could maybe understand that. But I don't think he's washed. I think he's struggling.
Yes.
And I think it's unfortunate, but I wouldn't say he's washed. Especially
he also
because
just got there.
I don't know what number he is in the Drivers' Championship or his standing is. I think he's like 6th or 7th.
Something like that.
And I mean, being better than what?
He's still scoring points.
2/3 of the grid, basically.
Yeah. He's still scoring points.
3/4.
I also think the fact that he is Lewis Hamilton, makes everyone have so much higher expectations for him because he's not technically doing poorly.
He's doing better than last year.
That's the thing too.
You see?
And I think I sent y'all the comparison with like a little graphic, and I was like, maybe it's just me, but like it feels as though he was doing better last season. But maybe it's just I'm looking at the season as a whole. He got 2 wins, and and we're only 8 or 9 races into the season, so we still have more than half of the season to go. So, but yeah, it does not feel as if he's doing better than he was at Mercedes, but
I think all the hype made this disappointing.
What hype?
The hype around him moving to Ferrari.
But I think
everyone was expecting him to come in and just like start dominating with Ferrari. Like, and not everyone, obviously, but I think a lot of people did. And he came in and, he's doing good, better than last year, which people are clearly not giving him credit for. I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I think that's really it. I wanted to kind of touch on that I saw. It was surprising how much everyone was saying it's time for him to hang it up.
But you're right. They should look at Fernando first and then turn their eyes to Lewis.
I don't say they have to. I'm just saying,
I said should.
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
Anything
else?
I don't think I have anything else.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen.
We have any extra post-race anything?
Question of the pod.
My question of the pod is, are you guys, obviously we mentioned earlier, I don't remember if we recorded it or not, but Love Island premieres tomorrow.
Yes, it does.
We're all excited about that. But also premiering this month is The Ultimatum Queer Love Season 2.
I saw that.
I'm so excited for. I'm so excited.
I haven't seen the trailer yet. I really want to go watch the trailer.
The trailer
I haven't. Oh, God. I saw a half a clip and I was like, oh, God.
Like, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, lesbians will never be able to beat the charge that they are falling in love and moving in at the speed of light. I swear to you, me knowing how the ultimatum is set up and seeing in the trailer these women are saying like falling in love, and I'm like, aren't they with each other for like a week, 2 weeks?
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm like, y'all never gonna beat it.
And they are ready to propose that day.
And I love that for them.
That's why
I know. That's why it makes them
all
great
the people
TV.
on the show are great.
It's wonderful.
Excited. Listeners, you might get some recaps. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited.
I don't know. I will say the ultimatum for I hate how Netflix releases shows.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time they lose me by the end. Like Love is Blind, The Ultimatum Queer Love, they lose me pretty much by the end.
I'm faithful to the Ultimatum Queer Love. It's always so good. It's so
Ultimatum is always going to happen.
It's actually so significantly better than the straight Ultimatum that I'm actually kind of shocked that they make the straight Ultimatum, because I've never, after season 1 of Straight Ultimatum was good, and then they gave us the Ultimatum Queer Love, and I was like, oh, you guys don't know what you just did. You just cannibalized your OG product. Because every season of the Ultimatum after that, I've been like,
it's not as good. It's just not.
I checked, y'all aren't actually throwing away your relationships.
Hello?
And y'all
are out here having conversations. Yeah. I don't want to listen to you talk.
Yeah, y'all aren't having the messy ass reunion that the Queer Love people did.
Thank you.
Nobody wants to be messy at a reunion anymore.
I need y'all cussing people out because they slept with your spouse. Thank you very much.
But yes, I'm very excited.
Or at least give me Ultimatum South Africa, something.
Oh, so good.
That one was another.
I watched that for the first time when I was in Freetown.
And?
Mess.
I mean, I knew it was crazy, but to like actually watch it, the craziness from my eyes, and I watched it with our cousins. Girl, we were all like it was like we were up till 2:00 at one day watching it because
I know they were Shookington.
They were something.
My girl Ruth, who stood on Big Business.
And I just saw somebody's still together or engaged recently from
probably more than one of them.
No, it's only one that I saw.
Only one. Oh, what's that girl name?
The white couple.
The white couple. Courtney, is that her name? Courtney?
Yeah.
I think they're still together, but it wasn't
Isaac.
I think Isaac.
I think it's Isaac. He was the absolute precious one.
Aiden.
He was precious. Oh, I liked him. Yeah. I hope they're still together because they made each other happy.
Yeah. But super excited for Ultimate Queer Love. You'll hear back from us. And you'll hear back from us maybe next week. We'll see how recording goes, but you'll definitely hear back from us in 2 weeks for, say it with me, whoop, whoop, the Canadian GP.
Canada.
It'll be better for us in America.
It'll be great. It'll be at 2 p.m. Woo.
1 p.m.
It'll be at a decent hour. My calendar won't say 5:30 a.m. Yay.
Love that. But all right, listeners, rate, review, subscribe, share, do all the wonderful podcasty things.
Yes.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, listeners.